Welcome back to another exciting episode of Lifelong Learners. Last time I talked about dental anxiety, current events, and disability rights. For this week's episode, I want to dive deeper into the world of stuffed animals and special interests from my own lived experience. If you want to listen to more episodes of Lifelong Learners, you can go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Lifelong Learners Podcast. Now let's dive deeper into the world of stuffed animals and special interests from my own lived experience. Stay tuned, Holly Tetreault. My stuffed animals mean so much more to me. Having a collection of stuffed animals is more than buying them and making them look pretty. Stuffed animals help me to calm down in stressful situations. There are two stuffed animals that I don't leave home without. Fox and Teddy travel with me in the community. These two stuffies have been there for me when I need to calm down. Fox and Teddy are my favorite stuffed animals, and this podcast would not be possible without them. When I go to GCC, I bring a bag of stuffed animals along with Fox and Teddy. I always make sure to have a stuffed animal with me when I am traveling to GCC and to medical appointments. I started collecting Hello Kitty plushies when I was 13. Then, as the years went on, I found a special interest in stuffed animals because of the soft texture. I find soft textures to be calming, so stuffed animals were the perfect soft texture. After I graduated from high school and went to college, I was able to bring my stuffed animals to school. For the first time in years, I felt comfortable to bring my stuffies to school and let them sit there with me while I was doing homework. Every night before leaving to go to GCC, I would put Fox and Teddy on my kitchen table so I don't forget them in the morning. One morning, I forgot to put Fox and Teddy on my table, and I didn't realize that they weren't still in my bed until I was on the bus. Fox and Teddy were probably wondering where I was and why they were still at home. It was hard for me to downsize the number of stuffed animals I had. Before I moved to Greenfield in July of 2023, I had to leave some of my Hello Kitties with Mom, and the other stuffed animals I couldn't fit in my apartment. I donated them. My collection of stuffed animals has grown since I've been living on my own. Two of my stuffed animals are weighted, and this is a added benefit because sometimes I don't use my weighted blanket at night. Having a weighted stuffed animal helps me with any anxiety because the weight and softness of the stuffed animal reminds my body to calm down and relax. Fox was the main stuffed animal, along with the two crocs that Terry's family gave me that were walking across the stage with me at my college graduation. Stuffed animals mean more to me than having something to sleep with me at night. Some people don't understand that I use them to cope with anxiety and sensory overload. When I know that I will be in a new situation, I bring Fox and Teddy with me to help with any stress. I just hang out with my stuffed animals because they bring me happiness and joy. Another reason I like my stuffed animals is that these stuffies don't judge me for who I am. When Mom traded in our old car last year, I brought Fox with me so it would be less anxiety provoking for me to leave Mom's old car at Toyota. Having stuffed animals helps me to cope with changes to my routine, and especially when I am going through big life changes. Having a stuffed animal to hold helps me to cope with any emotions I am feeling. My special interest in stuffed animals helps me to escape the overwhelming world I am in. Whenever I find a Hello Kitty or some other plushie that I am interested in, I decide if I need that plushie or if I have the money for it. The days that Mom can't come over to visit me, it's nice having my stuffed animals to hang out with me. Fox and Teddy are the troublemakers because when I am out with Mom and I leave Fox and Teddy in the car, for some reason, Teddy thinks that he's going to drive Mom's car. I have to tell Teddy that he's not driving Mom's car. Fox and Teddy go with me everywhere, and I make sure I don't leave home without them. Having a soft texture during times of stress is helpful. After losing my neighbor Avis, I have been leaning towards soft textures and familiar objects. Having autism and using stuffed animals to cope with stress, sensory overload, and this world that isn't built for us it's okay. If you have a special interest that is helpful for you, then continue doing what you're doing. Even when I have brunch on Sundays, I bring my stuffed animals downstairs to enjoy some quality time with my neighbors. Fox and Teddy have made a lot of friends where I live now. My neighbors always ask, "Where is Fox and Teddy?" When I get a new stuffed animal, I make sure to show my neighbors, and they like my stuffed animals. I use Fox and Teddy as my companions because I can't go anywhere without them. Even though I am an adult, I still collect stuffed animals, and I do get looks from people when I am out in public. I don't let that stop me from carrying the items I need to cope with stress, sensory overload, and a world that wasn't built for me. When I used to live with Mom, my stuffed animals became a way for me to express myself without being judged for who I was. I went through so much of my sister picking on me when I was younger. This is why I started collecting stuffed animals, so I had something positive to focus on besides hearing the negative comments coming from my sister. Stuffed animals played a huge role in my life after I got my autism diagnosis because it was hard to even have a conversation with my mom because my sister always needed to know everything. Every time I was upset about something, the first thing I did was find a stuffed animal and hug it because it was hard to tell people how I felt. So my stuffed animals became my comfort items. That concludes this week's episode of Lifelong Learners. This week I talked about stuffed animals and special interests from my own lived experience. Next week I want to talk about a day in the life with autism from my own lived experience. I want to thank Alex, GCC, and all of my fans for helping me get my autism story out there. If you want to listen to more episodes of Lifelong Learners, you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Lifelong Learners Podcast. See you next week. Holly Tetreault.